Good morning. My name is Rob Thacker. I'm the music director here at St. John's, and we're going to begin by singing our gathering hymn for this month, hymn 404. Please rise, embody your spirit, and we'll sing What Gift Can We Bring?
Please join with me. We light this chalice, symbol of our faith alive in this world, naming our vision of collective liberation and daring to remember each other in beloved community. Good morning. I'm Melissa Rowland, the immediate past president of the board, and also the chair of the Covenant team, the Covenant Committee, which I didn't mention when I talked about it the other day. It is my pleasure to welcome you to St. John's Unitarian Universalist Church this morning. Here we offer a community of hope, a community that can journey with you through your life. You are welcome in this community no matter how you no matter what identity you hold. No matter what, whether you have documents that doesn't speak to your gender identity, or if you don't have documents at all, you are welcome here. You are welcome here if you are angry, scared, joyous, or confused. You are welcome here both in person, and we value racial, economic, cultural, age, physical ability, sexual orientation, and gender diversity of all our members and friends and visitors. There are many great things happening at St. John's. Please review your order of service, and you may want to check out the TV in the lobby or the bulletin boards in our fellowship hall. Now please put your cell phones in church mode, and again, welcome to St. John's.
Please rise in body and spirit, and we'll sing hymn 360, Here We Have Gathered.
Okay. Join me in reciting our affirmation. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands.
Every week, we make time in our service to ground ourselves in what we value. We celebrate and honor our joys and concerns by coming forward to place stones representing what we carry into the sand that represents the many and unique parts of our beloved community over all of the years it has existed. If you would like a joy or concern to be read, please leave them on the table. And if you are online, you can enter your joy or concern into chat, and they will come to me right here, and we can read them as well. We light the candle to represent all that has been shared and that remains in our hearts today. So we have one joy in the room today. Today is Rob's birthday. I had no idea we were both January babies. And it looks like I don't have any online joys and concerns. Does tech concur? Tech concurs. I invite you to move into a spirit of prayer meditation with these words by Reverend Rebecca Savage. Spirit of life, eternal beloved of mystery and grace, receive our prayer. We come before that which is greater than ourselves in gratitude for the fullness of our lives, for the anguish and grief that inform our mission to side with love again and again, for the suffering and disenfranchisement of people that foment our passion for justice and wholeness, for complex lives, for hard lives, for real, full, and overwhelmed lives. We give thanks for the blessings that we have been given, the reassurance of community, the steady warmth of hope, and the unwavering faith that there will be better days. We give thanks. Spirit of love, come alongside with all the holy nudges that we need, so we may live in such a way that we celebrate all the blessings that we have been given, so we may be blessings in the world. Amen. I want to invite the kids and anyone else who's interested to come forward for our story. Feels like it's been a long time since I've done a story. There's even a stool if anyone feels like that would help. Anywhere works. You can explore during the story. So this is about a preschool that is run by animals. So Mr. Aardvark has a preschool, and it's a pretty small preschool. He has 4 students. He has a cat, a dog, a bluebird, and an elephant. They're wondering where this is going. And, have you guys been in schools that have had like those circle rugs that everybody sits on? Yeah, Hazel has? Maybe? Yeah. Anybody else? Those circle rugs? Yeah. So they have a circle rug, and it kind of works. Sometimes there's a little argument about it. So eventually Mr. Aardvark put tape on it. So there were 4 sections of the circle rug, one for bluebird, one for cat, one for dog, and one for elephant. Well, as you might imagine with equal sections, it didn't quite fit exactly well for everybody. Elephant was sort of half on and half off the rug. But it worked out well enough. Until one day, Mr. Aardvark said, guess what? We are going to get more friends to play with. There are going to be 3 new students. He was surprised because the other animals, they weren't terribly excited. Bluebird immediately was worried about the rug. There's already not enough room for everybody on the rug. Where will everybody sit? What will we do? How will we have room? He said, let's wait and see. So the first student to come in was a tiny little frog. And so the cat, the bird, the elephant, and the dog felt a little better. They thought, this frog won't take up too much room. The next student was a giraffe. And then her sister, the giraffe. So they were worried about how they would have enough room on the rug. And Mr. Aardvark said, let's think about this. Let's think about how we might solve this problem. Does anybody have any ideas? Like, what are some ways they could solve this problem?
Take off all the tape and then put new tape with 7 spots.
Take off all the tape, put new tape with 7 spots. It's great. Buy a bigger rug. Another good idea. There's not much room? Yeah, exactly. Anybody else? Any ideas? The bluebird could sit on one of the giraffes, yes. Get rid of the rug entirely. Another good possibility. Buy desks and chairs. Rethink the system. I like it. Expel one of the students. That might be a touch drastic, but I understand your thinking. Anybody else? Get a new preschool. Bigger rooms, bigger rugs, more places to sit. Get a giant classroom. So funding the schools better is the underlying need here. Mr. Aardvark and the students talked and talked and talked about what they want to do. And finally, they came up with a plan. And Mr. Aardvark, he drew lines on the rug and told the cat to come. And so the cat took his claw and they cut the rug into 7 pieces of different sizes. And the frog was like, well, I don't need a rug. It's kind of scratchy and itchy. Maybe I should just go back to my pond. And they said, The cat went and got her backpack and got out her water dish and presented it for the frog. And so they put some water in it, and the frog was happy. And the dog, who always wanted to be friends with the cat, you know how that can be, offered to share his water dish with the cat, so they were happy. The elephant got a giant piece of rug, so finally she could sit on the whole thing, so she was happy. The giraffes were able to sit together on a large piece of rug because they liked to be together, so they were happy. And the cat and dog got their own piece. But the bluebird was like, well, what about me? There's not a rug that's my size. And the teacher said, you can perch on my shoulder. So basically, they took the situation and they considered, how can we think about it? How can we do this differently? Which is the ideas you guys came up with. How do we do this differently? What needs to change so everybody can be included? We did well. The end.
Hold on, children, hold on. Before you run off, we're going to try to actually sing the first verse while you're still here. Once we sing it through once, then you can stand up and go your merry way. Yes, fantastic. So, first verse, yes, and we'll sing May Your Mind, and then for the second verse as they're walking out, we'll sing May Our Minds. Here we go.
The offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place, to these people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. May our offering help us practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation as tools to empower our mission. St. John's is committed to creating a safe and caring community, working for peace and social justice, and celebrating beliefs that respect freedom of thought. We are thankful for your offering.
Our reading today is titled Crossing Bridges by Reverend Jenn. It's written in first person, but it's not my story, just to be clear. When I was very young, my family often went camping at Assateague Island on the Maryland shore. It was a long drive, but there were lots of adventures along the way. The last adventure was crossing a long bridge. This was one of my favorite moments. As we approached the bridge, my father would holler back to us kids, "Look out, it looks like we're gonna land in the water." The bridge rises sharply so you can't see the other side until you get close to the top. As you approach, it feels like you will fall right off the edge of the bridge when you get there. Creating adventure was a theme in my family. My father would take us out on Sunday drives just to get lost. He would say things like, "Let's just turn down this road and see where it takes us." My mother would take us on penny hikes, flipping a coin at each fork in the trail to see which direction we would walk. We explored trails, creeks, and went bushwhacking a few times, always looking for new adventures. Growing up with an appreciation for the unknown and creating adventures in unexpected ways has served me well. I try new foods and activities, go places I've never been before, ride roller coasters, especially ones in the dark. I love Star Trek because they boldly go where no one has gone before. I like to explore new ways of doing things, even when I'm not certain how they may turn out. Sometimes I do like to reinvent the wheel, and I try very hard to think outside the box and invite others to open the box for me when I get stuck inside. Unitarian Universalists step outside into the unknown all the time as we embark on our spiritual journeys. We go searching for new ways to make meaning of our lives, to create a more just and loving world, and to answer questions of ultimacy together. We seek creative ways to raise our children with inquiring minds and loving hearts, and to provide them with the tools to navigate an unpredictable future. We cross bridges and borders as we learn to navigate the multicultural world around us that challenges us to expand our worldview and embrace new ways of engaging in a changing world. Whether we are crossing a bridge from a place of comfort to challenges we never anticipated, or from our own cultural norms to completely new worldviews, we have resources, friends, and mentors to guide us. If we're crossing the bridge from youth to young adult, or from career to retirement, somehow we find the tools we need to navigate our way to the other side. For this amazing journey, we carry in our backpacks a sense of wonder, a sense of humor, and a lot of courage. Our compass is the compassion we hold for all our neighbors. Our sustenance is the joy of discovering our true selves and experiencing the divine in one another. Our map is the sacred covenant we hold with one another to walk this journey together. With so many tools to guide and support us as we approach new bridges, it is not such a leap of faith to trust that we will arrive at the distant shore. Together, we can boldly go where our vision and our faith calls us to go. Thank you.
While the choir comes up, just to introduce the song. We sang this yesterday at Barbara Haddon's memorial service, Dear Letton, and it's a lovely piece. It also connects with the discussion that will be happening today about the RE program, because Barbara was very involved in that for many years, and so we hope you enjoy it. Dear Letton.
It doesn't interest me if there is one God or many gods. This is how David White begins his poem, Self-Portrait. He goes on, I want to know if you belong or feel abandoned, if you know despair or can see it in others. I want to know if you are prepared to live in a world with its harsh need to change you. If you can look back with firm eyes saying, this is where I stand. I want to know if you know how to melt into that fierce heat of living, falling toward the center of your longing. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love. One of the things that I love about great writing is how you can come back to it over and over and see different things each time. I've even based other sermons around this very poem. This past week, when I read it again, my mind went to the inaugural prayer service last Tuesday, when the Episcopal Bishop, Marian Edgar Buddy, yes, that is the correct pronunciation, used part of her sermon to speak directly to the president. She said, in the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches, mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and to walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love. Bishop Buddy has been living with the consequence this past week. Her message, her expression of love, her plea for mercy has led to death threats. One congressional representative suggested the bishop, who was born in New Jersey, should be deported. Maybe he doesn't know New Jersey is a state in the U.S. I just considered that. Anyway, another introduced a resolution to state that Bishop Buddy's clear expression of the gospel of Jesus was not representative of people of the Christian faith. Here's the thing. Bishop Buddy knew there would be consequences, and she decided to take the chance anyway of speaking truth from her pulpit. It turns out she had been preparing herself for making difficult and decisive decisions for some time. Back in 2017, she had gathered with a group of other church leaders who together discerned a need for spiritual revitalization and who developed a rule of life for those within the church. A rule of life is an intentional way of being in the world. For this group, the rule of life involved commitments such as learning about their faith tradition, praying and worshiping in community, blessing the world, going outside their circles of comfort, and rest. And they called their rule of life the way of love. In 2020, Bishop Buddy's practice of this rule of life led her to speak out about President Trump's appearance in front of an Episcopal church in her diocese, where he held up a Bible upside down for a photo op after having removed those who were protesting the killing of George Floyd. She said that he used sacred symbols to cloak himself in the mantle of spiritual authority while espousing positions antithetical to the Bible that he held in his hands. Later that month, in an interview with ABC News, she said she had given up speaking to President Trump. We all have those moments. In 2023, she published a book called How We Learn to Be Brave: Decisive Moments in Life and Faith. There, she reflects on how she was formed by daily moments, including moments of failure, disagreement, boredom, and depression, and how recognizing one's courage and strengths includes accepting one's weaknesses. Just a few months later, she would be called upon to give the inaugural prayer service message to the one she had said she was done speaking to. Called upon to face the consequence of that way of love she had been practicing alongside others. When asked about the threats that have been sent to her and if she feels like she's in danger, Bishop Buddy replied, "The real people who are in danger are those who are fearful of being deported, and those young people who feel they cannot be themselves and be safe, and who are prone to all kinds of both external attacks and suicidal responses to them. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love." After Bishop Buddy's name became well known in our country, another story about her surfaced. After Matthew Shepard, a young gay man in Wyoming, was killed in 1998, his parents held on to his ashes, afraid that his grave would be vandalized. 20 years later, he was interred at the National Cathedral in a service co-officiated by Bishop Buddy, who later said, "There will be young people from all across the country having tours here and being educated here. When they pass by, they will see a plaque in his honor. They will see that this is a church that has learned from the example of violence, that we need to stand and be counted among those who work for justice and the full embrace of all God's children." When Bishop Buddy addressed President Trump and the other leaders present on Tuesday, she did so in the same place where she had helped lay Matthew Shepard to rest. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love. This past week has been an intentionally overwhelming flurry of executive orders and other actions designed to be dizzying. Orders have silenced public health agencies, created confusion and danger for the future of research. Orders have targeted a variety of people, including an attempt to rewrite the Constitution and withdraw birthright citizenship. They've stripped away protections for trans folks, withdrawing as much progress as possible on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in our country, which directly targets people of color, women, and LGBTQ+ people. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents have been given permission to enter previously protected places like schools, hospitals, and places of worship. This effectively makes sources of community help and support dangerous for immigrants. And that's just a fraction of the last 5 days. It can be so easy to get lost in it, to become overwhelmed by the flood or flash from anger to anger, attracted to the bright glow of the next most outrageous thing. But when we do that, when we skip across the pond of outrage, contempt, or fear, we aren't able to ground ourselves, to root ourselves deeply enough into a stable rule of life, the everyday practices of a way of love, and to see the opportunities to make a decision to be brave when we can. And there will be opportunities, and they will not be in every single thing that happens. I said this in November, and I'll say it again. Realize you cannot do everything. You cannot stop every piece of what's going on over the next 4 years. You cannot take up every single cause. Start local. Who do you see that needs help or protection in our community? Who is afraid? Who is in danger? Start to consider what issues you will devote your time and your energy to, what issues you might support from further away, and what issues you might care about but not have a lot of resources or time to do a lot about. Try not to allow yourself to be overwhelmed by headlines. Practice a way of love and live it out right here, right now, with those nearby, those you can reach, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, and even when it feels like it's not enough. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love. As a congregation, St. John's must do this too. We're a fairly privileged community. I'm not speaking about us as individuals, but as a whole. The majority of folks here are in the systems of class and race that guide so much of our country. And as a community, we have a building, we have some funds, and a sense that things don't really have to change too much around here. Those with significant privilege could probably skate through the next 4 years without very much trouble. But the people around us, including individuals in our community, in this room, will be targeted and suffer. Leaning into the comfort of privilege and completely avoiding risk is not what we're called to do in our tradition. Leaving others to suffer is not our calling. We're called to be brave. And maybe that starts with actions like coming together to decide how we will respond if ICE comes to our building. Perhaps it means putting up a rainbow flag or banner to show LGBTQ people that they are welcome and beloved from the moment they walk through our doors. How will we speak our faith into this world? How will we stand with siblings of color when they are told over and over that they are not valued in this country? Will we take the risk of leveraging our privilege as a church, as well as individuals, to say something, to do something? I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love. We're already seeing people choose resistance. You may have heard of the school in Chicago that turned away agents from the Secret Service thinking they were ICE officers. When ICE raided a business district in Newark, New Jersey, the mayor immediately put out a statement denouncing it as a violation of the Fourth Amendment and stated they will not stand idly by while people are being unlawfully terrorized. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love. And it can be frightening, not knowing what the consequence might be and doing it anyway. This is where rootedness comes in. And love is the root and the center of Unitarian Universalism. It guides our formation as individuals and as a community. It guides how we are called to be and to operate together. Ground yourself in this tradition, in this community. Learn about our spiritual history and our call today. Develop a rule of life, intentional practices for how you will be in this world, even in the day-to-day seemingly insignificant moments. And remind yourselves that you are not alone. You are part of a beloved community. And that's what we're doing today. After the service today, we'll be gathering for a visioning workshop to encourage us to consider the future of children's programming here at St. John's. And just a brief commercial, you are welcome to come. This is open to everyone and encourage everyone to come. Even if you didn't bring any food to share, and there will be food, and even if you didn't sign up ahead of time. And it is hard. We are considering how we want to move forward in a way that will best serve our families and those young people who will continue this faith tradition after you and I are gone. How will we go about providing roots and wings to the future of St. John's and to our families? How will we help our children prepare to live day by day with the consequence of love? In our gathering this afternoon, we will honor the legacy and the history of St. John's Children's Programming. Those who were here for Barbara's celebration of life yesterday saw how the work we have done for families in the past still matters deeply. And we are in a changing world with new and perhaps different demands on our families. So we will engage one another with love, and we will consider a path forward. Our legacy and our vision, and the vision we create together, can help us create for all of us, not just our children and families, a deep rootedness in this faith that centers love, a rootedness that will give us wings that set us free. My beloved spiritual companions, these times call for a powerful, connected ministry. It calls for us to show up, to be formed as people of faith, to prepare to live out our lives when opportunities arise, whether big or small, dramatic or boring. I've been studying St. John's for 1.5 years now, and I know we are a people who can do this. We can show up for one another. We do show up for one another and those in our community. We can take decisive, brave steps informed by our faith. We can live day by day with the consequence of love. Blessed be.
Thank you. We have other opportunities to join in community together. You have a list of things in your order of service. Please take a look at the last page for some announcements. A couple things that may not be there. We have the No Talent Talent Show coming up on February 7th. Bring whatever talent or hidden skill you may have. There is more information in the pink paper. Did you all get one of these in your order of service? Okay. One other thing is that on February 9th, after service in Kroll-Pfeiffer, there will be heart-shaped cookies to decorate, and everyone is welcome to join in on that. Do we have other announcements?
Bill.
Oh, Bill, yes. We have one more announcement.
And maybe Edie. Okay, good.
So as you know, there's going to be a meeting this after church to discuss reimagining the programming for children, youth, families, and all of St. John's, so that lunch is in Kroll-Pfeiffer. So when you go into Kroll-Pfeiffer, you'll see there are 4 tables that have little tents on them saying family. So those tables are reserved for families with children here, families who have children who happen not to be here today, families who have children at home who may or not be interested or may be interested in the church. So those are for families. And as you walk in, please allow the families to get their food earlier. Now, normally this would have been a partner church soup and bread lunch, but it's not. But if you feel like making a contribution towards the partner church, there is a basket over on the side with the silverware where you can leave some money. Have fun. Get your stuff early, because the program on reimagining ministry for children, youth, and families will start promptly at 12:30.
Huh? Go eat? Not yet. Let's please rise and bow, and we'll sing our closing hymn 123, Spirit of Life.
Together, may we envision and create a future that allows us to be firmly rooted in love. May that love give us wings to set ourselves and others free. Go in peace, go in love, go eat.